Ganesha Goswami, your welcome in online series of machine design. So in today's session we will continue the internal combustion engine design of piston. So in previous lecture we have already seen that design consideration, design requirement, what is the material, function of piston rings, function of piston crown, and design of piston crown. So that we have covered already in previous lectures. Okay, so piston we know again it's having the reciprocating motion, right, and which transfer the useful work or extract the useful work from your cylinder, from the combustion gases to the connecting rod. So this is the basic function, we have already seen that, right. So now this is the different components for the piston crown. So we have already find out the thickness of the piston crown in last lecture, right. So in this lecture we will continue the piston barrel. Okay, so you can see there from top to bottom portion. So this is known as the length of piston barrel, which is consist of your some portion of the top length, ring section and skirt. Okay, so we will design the piston barrel. So how to find out the piston barrel, what is the function, right? So it is, we have seen that it is your cylindrical portion of the piston, and thickness of the piston barrel is denoted by the T3. We have already find out the thickness T1, T2 for the axial thickness for the ring section and radial thickness for the ring section, right? So T3 is denoted, it is notation for your thickness for the piston barrel, right? So how to obtain it? So you can obtain that T3 is equal to 0.03D plus B plus 4.5 mm, right? So by using this formula, what is D? D is here bore, B is here radial depth of the piston rings grooves, which is generally taken as 0.4 mm larger than of your radial thickness. So how you will obtain this B? So B is equal to T1 plus 0.4 mm. So these are the all mathematical terms. Now piston skirt. So lower portion of the piston below the piston ring section is known as piston skirt, and it is generally subjected to your continuously forces, okay, or axial thrust, which is produced due to the connecting rod. Okay, so it may be noted that maximum thrust will be during the expansion stroke, and when the expansion in the cylinder takes place, so at that time maximum thrust will be generated. Okay, so generally thrust is taken as 1/10 of your maximum gas load on the piston. So what is the maximum gas load? So you can find out the maximum gas load is equal to force into area. Okay, so force is equal to pressure into area. So where P is your maximum pressure, you have to consider because you have to find out the maximum load, right? So we will consider the maximum gas pressure. So maximum gas pressure is taken as 9 to 10 times of your mean effective gas pressure, right? So how to find out the maximum gas load on piston? So maximum gas load P is denoted by the P max multiplied by area. Area is here your projected area. We will consider the projected area, right? Projected area, what is the mean by the projected area? So projected area is area that actually come in contact. Okay, so that area is known as your projected area, right? So maximum side thrust of the cylinder is equal to R is equal to P divided by 10, right? P by 10 or 1/10 of your P. So P max is your maximum gas pressure. Now, so how to find out the side thrust? We have already seen that, and side thrust is also you can find out the amount of bearing pressure will be there and projected area of the piston skirt. We are talking about the piston skirt, right? So R is equal to PB multiplied by D into L. So DL is here projected area, PB is your bearing pressure, okay? L is your length of the piston skirt, D is your cylinder bore, and length of piston. So what is the length of piston? Total length of the piston. So total length of the piston is always taken as D to 1.5 times of the D. Okay, so L by D ratio is very important. We have already seen that in sliding contact bearing. Okay, so capital L is equal to D to 1.5 times of your D. So this is your L by D ratio. Now next is your piston pin. So piston pin is also known as Guzin pin, or it is known as your sometimes wrist pin. So this is used to connect the piston and connecting rod, okay, and its section is generally hollow. So you can see here in this diagram, this section is hollow and having the tapered area, right? So this is the tapered from the, and the smallest inside diameter is there in center. Now, so what is the material used for the piston pin? So case hardened steel, alloy contained steel, chromium, molybdenum or vanadium. So these are used for the piston pin, and piston pin should have the strength, tensile strength up to 710 megapascal to 910 megapascal. So that strength should be of the piston pin. Now, how to design the piston pin? Okay, so it is designed for the maximum gas load or for the inertia force of the piston. Whichever the larger, so we will consider larger value. So that we have already seen in piston head, we will consider the larger value. So you can see here, this is known as piston pin. Okay, upper portion is piston boss, so center portion is your piston pin. Okay. Now, so how to design? So first criteria design for the piston pin is bearing consideration, and second one is your bending consideration. So first of all, we will design on basis of your bearing consideration. So by using this fundamental, we can find out the outer diameter of your piston pin, right? So how to find out this? We will find out by equating some equation. So what is that? Whatever the amount of gas load will be there, that should be equal to your piston strength. Okay, or you can say that load on the piston due to the gas pressure should be equal to the load of the piston pin due to the bearing pressure. Okay, so we will equate these two components and we can find out the outer diameter. So means load on the piston due to gas pressure, so this is known as gas load, is equal to load on the piston pin due to the bearing pressure, so this is known as your bearing load. Okay, so by equating these two parameters, we can find out the diameter. So what is the gas load? Gas load, maximum gas load is pi by 4d square into maximum multiplied by maximum pressure. Okay, and what is the bearing load? Bearing load we have already seen that, bearing pressure multiplied by your bearing area. Okay, and there is a relation between the outer dia and inner diameter of your piston pin. So d inner diameter is equal to 0.6 times of your outer diameter. Okay, so now we will equate the we can find out equating these gas load and bearing pressure, so we can find out the di and d outer, right? Next is your piston design by considering the bending consideration. So you can see here d outer is your inner diameter and outer diameter of your piston pin, and d is your bore diameter. Okay, so bending may be there, so bending consideration, so max bending moment is equal to PD divided by your 8, right? So PD divided by 8, so this is your bending moment. Next is your, what is section modulus? So section modulus is equal to pi by 32 d power 4 d outer 4 minus d I 4 divided by d outer. So this is your section modulus. So what is maximum bending moment? Okay, so maximum bending moment is given by N is equal to Z into sigma B. Okay, Z is your section modulus, sigma B is your bending stress. Okay, so by putting the value of section modulus in this equation, this is mathematical term, you can drive it, so you will find out this final value. Here sigma B is your allowable bending stress for the material of the piston pin. So its values vary from the 84 megapascal for the case hardened steel and 140 megapascal for the heat treated alloy steel. So by using this fundamental, you can find out the diameter and components of the piston pin. Thank you.